Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fields here at Southern Virginia University for your women's soccer matchup between the St. Mary's Seahawks and your Southern Virginia Knights. The Southern Virginia Knights in their last matchup did come off with a win and now have 2 wins in conference and move to 6th on the table in the Capital Athletic Conference. St. Mary's, on the other hand, in 4th in conference with a 2-2-1 record in conference and 3-7-3 on the season. I'm Sam Horman. I'm joined today by Nash Jones. Nash, what can we expect from the matchup today?
You're going to expect a very good game from 2 very good teams. Both teams that both their last losses came from Christopher Newport, who's number 1 in the Capital Athletic Conference. But the Knights coming off 2 strong conference wins, which is really going to propel them and motivate them to get this 3rd conference win, hopefully, here today.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 very strong teams here, and as well, both teams have quite a few common opponents as well. They have about 5 opponents that they've both played and have actually had very similar outcomes as well, both with a loss to Bridgewater by 1 goal. Both played Averett. St. Mary's came out with a loss there, but the Southern Virginia Knights were tied and took it into double overtime and came out with a draw in that game. Both have played Salisbury and came out with a 1-0 loss. Salisbury, of course, 5-0 in the conference, a very, very skilled and very talented opponent. Both as well have played Penn State Harrisburg, that being the only game that really we've seen a different outcome, with the St. Mary's Seahawks winning that one and the Knights losing that one. And then both teams, of course, losing to Christopher Newport, although the Southern Virginia Knights did come out with a goal on that one, which is particularly impressive given how few goals Christopher Newport has allowed on the season. They are 12-0-1, yet undefeated in play, and had only allowed 9 goals on the season when they came here to Southern Virginia. So I think both teams really do have a pretty strong side, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what we can get from tonight's game.
A little bit of series history between these 2 teams. The Knights are 0-2-2 against the Seahawks. Last year, the Knights were a little bit unlucky coming out of a 3-0 loss. Hopefully looking for a different outcome tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's also worth noting both of these teams not afraid to get goals, but really because of their playing styles, typically they don't see too many goals in the game. St. Mary's really had a string of games, about 4 in a row, where they just had a 1-0 loss. So really not an incredibly high-scoring team. They average less than 1 goal a game. They only have 12 goals on the season. So the Knights have had a couple of games where they've really just gone big and really come out with a lot of goals. Potomac State College, they came out with 9 goals in that game. And then they'll average about 2 or 3. So I think it's going to be a heavily defensive game as well. Both teams very disciplined offensively and defensively. So it's going to be a close matchup tonight. Seahawks are in their first free kick of the game. Long kick towards the 18, flicked on. Looks like the ball will roll across the end line. It'll be a throw in for the Seahawks. Seahawks switch field, trying to work the ball across back into the middle. Knights come away with possession.
Yeah, as you said before, Knights really have a strong defense. Not really allowing too many goals. Their goalkeeper, no, I can't remember.
Meredith Ouellette.
Meredith.
Mm-hmm.
She's done a really great job this year, having 31 saves and out of 51. So having the majority of the saves this year, doing a really good job back there in the goal.
Yeah, they have substituted a couple of different goalkeepers through for the first about 6 games, but then settled on Meredith Ouellette, and she's really stepped up for the Knights, done a pretty good job ever since she got the starting role. She is in goal for the Knights today as well. For those of you joining our broadcast, not for the first time, we do remember that the sun does play a pretty interesting role here up at the fields. You can see it shining down. You can see the shadows on the field shining down towards the Southern Virginia goal. So Meredith Ouellette will have the sun right in her face for the first half. Then the roles will switch, and the Seahawks will have the same experience. So that can factor in as well. Knights take a throw in. Played up to Allie Rigby, who's looking for a pass. Unable to find one, and the Seahawks come away with the ball. Coach Cox has made a certain tactical substitution from the normal. We see McCall Jensen starting the game for the Knights, a very good possessor on the ball. She does really well when the ball's played to her with her back to goal, defender on her back. She's able to lay it off pretty well for one of the other strikers, Allie Rigby or Taylor Mercer. Make really good splitting runs through the back line. So I think that's an interesting substitution there by Coach Cox to allow McCall Jensen to start the game. Try to just get the possession going early, because I do think that'll be one of the deciding factors of this game. Both teams not particularly high scoring, so really it may just be 1 or 2 goals that decide this outcome. Long kick gets past the back line of the Knights. Still not in any danger. Meredith Ouellette comes out to scoop that one up. Cyan Smith does a good job shielding that one in. It's a good defender's sense right there to know when the goalie has a better chance than you do. Seahawks kick it off of a Knights player, and then we'll get a throw in. I see him trying to bring the ball upfield into the corner. Ball's played a little bit long, and Ann Powell will come away with that one. Looks like she might try to shield it off the end line. Does so, and we'll get a goal kick for the Knights. Smart play there. Looked like she was trying to play it. Seahawks player slowed down just a little bit, and then she just let it roll across the line. Short kick taken. Cyan Smith keeping pressure on in the corner again, and the Seahawks will kick the ball over the line. It'll be a goal kick for the Knights. Seahawks come away with possession, try to play the ball into the middle. Trying to find a drop pass. Ball goes down in the corner again. The Knights try to work it out now. Through ball makes it up to McCall Jensen.
Knights doing a great job of passing that ball, getting a lot of passes in.
Cora trying to find Allie Rigby deep in the corner. Pass may just be a little bit too long. Both players fighting for it. Ball stays in bounds. Seahawks come out with it now and try to bring the ball back upfield. Unable to do so, and it'll be a Knights throw-in. Cyan Smith unable to find someone on that one. Ends up just kind of throwing it in. Looks like we'll have a handball. It'll be a free kick for the Seahawks.
Seahawks doing a good job there, shutting down the Knights' offense, not letting Cyan get a throw-in not being able to find someone who's open.
Good control on the ball there. Able to bring down that drop kick. Now the Knights will have a throw of their own.
Looks like Allie Rigby wasn't ready for that throw-in.
Clarissa Barton bringing the ball upfield for the Knights, putting a couple of good moves on and opens up some space. Looks for Allie Rigby. Seahawks able to get a foot on that one, intercept it. Now the Seahawks trying to bring the ball downfield. I think definitely possession is going to be the name of the game today. Both teams really playing within their own 20-yard lines. So far, not really any major opportunities in the attacking third for either team. Looks like the ball is mostly going to be controlled through the midfield. Seahawks with an opportunity here, bring the ball down into the corner. Played just a little bit too long, rolls off the end line. Another Knights goal kick. Seahawks definitely trying to find Alex Moody down in the corner. So far unable to connect with her though. Barton bringing the ball upfield for the Knights. A few Seahawks defenders there. Seahawks will have a throw in there. Looked like a little bit of contact.
You know, we've brought up Clarissa's name a couple times here. Clarissa and Cyan Smith both leading the team in assists with 3. Both those girls do a great job here for the Knights. Clarissa being a big hustler, never giving up on a ball. You'll find her always trying to race the other players down the field, even if she's behind 5 yards or so. She'll find a way to catch up and get that ball back.
Absolutely, and I think the interesting thing there as well, Clarissa playing on the right wing in the midfield for the Knights, and Cyan Smith usually a left back. So interesting that they have used the attack on both sides in very different positions. Clarissa Barton usually is quite a bit more upfield than Cyan Smith, but it's interesting the Knights do bring their attack from both sides in different ways. But it's good to see that kind of dynamic efficiency there, that it's not just a one-dimensional attack. Seahawks just passing the ball around a little bit, trying to find something open up downfield. Now make a pass up the line to Moody. Tries to play it into the center, and the Knights come away with possession. Smith steps in front of that one, plays it up to Cora Jewell, looking for Rigby out on the side. Knights doing a good job trying to get those 1-2 passes to really open up space and get through the back line of the Seahawks. Saw Rigby there looking for Cheyenne Smith, making a good run. That's how she's managed to get a lot of her assists this year, is just play the ball up and then follow it, get a little 1-2 back, and it makes it very difficult. The back line tries to mark her, but someone coming out from the defense just complicates the formation on the back line.
You know, both teams doing a good job here, kind of keeping each other inside each other's 20s. Not really letting them get down to where they can maybe even get a potential goal off or a shot off. Kind of just keeping each other a little bit closer to midfield.
Yeah, neither team with a shot on goal yet this game. We're about 13 minutes in, but so far by this point, at least one team will have a couple pretty good opportunities. Seahawks like to take the free kick short, and now we'll bring the ball in. And Powell the first to get ahead on that one. Seahawks bring the ball back into the center. A couple of Knights trying to get it away. Allie Rigby comes out with it. Cleared away momentarily, but now the Seahawks looking again to bring the ball into the center. Crossed in. Good step in front there. Knights back line not allowing a shot cleanly.
Knights defense doing a really great job right there.
Knights definitely trying to bring the ball upfield rather than just clear it out. Had a couple opportunities to just blast it downfield, but I like to see the control by them rather than to just give away the possession. Trying to really bring the ball upfield. Saw a couple passes, but I think the Seahawks, on the other hand, recognizing that and bunching up a lot in the center, not allowing space to open up, makes it very difficult for the Knights to bring the ball out.
Clarissa Barton doing a good job right there, fighting with the defender to get that ball. She just kicks it off the Seahawks defender.
Looks like we'll have a foul before the pass, and now the Seahawks will have another free kick right before midfield. Long ball crossed in towards the back post, so Knights first to get ahead on it. And now we'll clear the ball out. Allie Rigby putting a lot of pressure on there. Seahawks again trying to really bring it out from the wing into the center. Unable to connect. The Knights keeping a lot of pressure on the strikers in the center of the area, but preventing any real good scoring opportunities and forcing the Seahawks to just kind of play the ball backwards a little bit. Now they get another opportunity down in the corner, trying to get a cross in. They managed to do so and connect at the top of the 18, but the ball goes well over the crossbar. She just skied that one. One of the first real opportunities of the game, though.
Knights just doing a really good job of keeping that ball away from the goal. I mean, that was about probably the first opportunity the Seahawks had to even get close to a goal, but the Knights doing a good job of shutting it down.
Yeah, first real opportunity, but not able to get that one away cleanly. There's two Knight defenders very close, putting pressure on, which makes that shot a lot more difficult. Seahawks try to switch field. Rigby comes out with it, brings the ball upfield for the Knights with space in front of her. She's very dangerous in these opportunities. Tries to find someone in the center. Looks like Taylor Mercer comes out with the ball there. Tries to play it over to Barton. The Seahawks made a step on her and able to pull the ball away from her there. Thrown for the Seahawks, played back. Now they're trying to really bring the ball into the center, but the Knights, I think, have recognized that as that's pretty much been their strategy for the first 18 minutes of this game, and so I think they're really making sure that nothing opens up cleanly in the middle of the field.
You brought up earlier, Allie Rigby, very dangerous in those open field situations. Allie leading the team with 7 goals, also leading the team with shots on goal with 20, and leading the team with shots with 32. She is definitely one of the key players here for the Knights today, and they're going to really need to find her in open space.
Absolutely. She just has a very high soccer IQ. The soccer sense is just, she knows where to be, because a lot of players try to just get where the ball is, but it's more important to recognize where the ball will be and where it's going. So the flow of play, it's very difficult to stick with and try to predict, but the players that can do it, they're the ones that get the ball in the back of the net, and Allie Rigby definitely one of those players. That's what they teach in Idaho, so that's why she's so good at it, Ball goes out for another St. Mary's throw-in. Like the ball was played into a Knight's hand there. Now the Seahawks will have another free kick. I think the Knights without a free kick so far, though, today. St. Mary's has had quite a few right around midfield. Haven't been able to get too much off of them, though.
Yeah, we've been playing for here about 20 minutes. Not a lot happening.
I think very consistent with St. Mary's style. They don't particularly have too many goals per game. They average about .92 per game, which, if you're coming out with some wins, they're 2-2-1 in the conference, so not necessarily a bad thing, just that's their style of play. They're not particularly a high-scoring team. They're just very efficient. They make it count for what they have. Most of their games are pretty low scoring, though. Only 12 goals on the season, only 14 against. So that just seems to be the style of play that they favor. The Knights, I think this style of play doesn't favor them as much, as once they get the momentum going, they really build. They have had quite a few multi-goal games, so I think they may want to try to speed up the play, which I'm sure Coach Cox will try to address at halftime. Knights also with quite a few very fast players, so I think a faster style of play would benefit them somewhat more than St. Mary's. There's one of those fast players stepping in right there. Allie Rigby almost able to come away with the ball there. Knights retain possession, come away with the ball. Played to Taylor Mercer in the center, who gets a shot. Pushes it just wide of the post. It looks like the goalkeeper for St. Mary's is not able to get a hand on it. It will be a goal kick. Sydney Larkin between the posts for the Seahawks today. Senior from Salisbury, Maryland.
Sydney having 48 saves here on the season. That's what we were saying earlier, is these two teams are very evenly matched up. Both teams not really allowing a whole lot of goals. As you can see, Sydney's a factor in that.
Looks like the referee not particularly pleased with something going on behind the net. Having a stoppage of play until that is taken care of. Now Larkin allowed to resume play. Knight's doing a good job bringing the ball down into the corner. Clarissa Barton so close to coming away with that one. A couple of really good quick passes there. They just managed to find her in the corner, which they've done so consistently all season. It's really provided a lot of opportunities for them. Barton coming away with 3 assists on the year, but that stat just doesn't really show the danger she's been in the corner for the Knights. She's just very quick up that sideline. Really opens up a lot of defenders. Was able to beat quite a few of them so far. Now the Knights picking up the speed of the game just a little bit. You can see a few more passes coming in. A couple of long passes starting to really spread out St. Mary's.
Knights looking for that through ball, just unable to get that through.
You can see almost every player on the field is within the 30-yard lines now. So basically a 40-yard game being played. Very interesting. They do keep it wide laterally, but so far fairly narrow play. So you see a couple substitutions come onto the field. We'll have number 16, Airdrie Palmer, enter the game. Stepping in for McCall Jensen. Coach Cox maybe trying to up the speed of play a little bit. The tempo of the Knights so far this season has been a little bit quicker. Looks like we also had number 3, Emma Landy, enter the game as well. There's a couple of attacking substitutions made by Coach Cox, definitely trying to get a goal here. Ball's played into Landy.
A little bit of contact there. Ref allows to play on.
Seahawks unable to control the ball. The Knights trying to bring it upfield now. Looking for a quick counter. Now St. Mary's trying to slow down the pace of the game. Just find those passes and really open up things. Mercer comes away with the ball for the Knights. Plays it into Clarissa Barton, who brings the ball into the middle of the field. Looks like she may have an opportunity. Tries to find Rigby in the center. Seahawks able to step in front of that one. Now the ball just kind of being played around. Played into Airdrie Palmer, who looks for Rigby in the center again. Trying to find an opportunity there, but you saw 2 Seahawks defenders really step hard for that one and not allow a shot to get off.
Yeah, you could see those 2 Seahawks defenders pushing hard for that ball, just kind of putting Allie in kind of a sandwich and not letting her get that shot off.
Yeah, I'm not letting her get that shot off either. That's a 20-yard shot from right in the middle of the field. That is not a shot you want to give up, but the Knights answer with it with an attack of their own. Really, they're probably one of their first real opportunities of the game. Well, I'm sure we'll have a free kick there, and we do. This is a great opportunity here for the Knights. Looks like it's about 25 yards out and just off the edge of the 18-yard box. I'm sure we'll see plenty of players go towards the back post. This is an area where the Knights have scored in the past. They do very well on free kicks. Mercer and Cora Jewell usually able to find a connection on these types of scenarios.
Yeah, Cora Jewell being the second leader on the team with 4 goals.
At least 2 or 3 of those coming off of free kicks. She did have a header a couple of games ago, also scored off of a corner that she just poked into the back of the net against Christopher Newport. So I'm sure she will be a likely target in the area. Ball comes in towards the back post. Comes off of the post, and it is Cora Jewell that puts the ball in the back of the net for the Knights. The Knights take a 1-0 lead over the Seahawks. So just like we call it, Nash, right in from Mercer, straight to Cora Jewell. Looked like she was able to hit it right off the post, but the deflection came right back to her, and she just puts it right in the back of the net.
Yeah, that's an awesome job. Great job by Cora Jewell. That's exactly what we said right there. Back in that corner, doing a great job on the free kick, getting it in, getting that rebound, coming off the side post at first, getting the rebound, able to come away with the first goal.
Yeah, it looks like St. Mary's wasn't watching the same film that we were, knew right where that ball was going. Looked like she only had one defender on her, and she was largely unmarked. The defender was in the area, but definitely not tight enough. You can't allow the first one to get through and then allows a second ricochet to get through. And the Knights take a 1-0 lead with 18 minutes left in the first half. Now you can see the energy just brought onto the field. The Knights moving all over the field now. Now that'll be Mercer's 3rd assist of the season. Doing a good job connecting. Now the Knights will have a throw-in deep in their attacking third as they continue to put the pressure on here for St. Mary's. Airdrie Palmer, a good turn into the box. Try to find Landy. Connects with Rigby. Good back heel pass on. Knights have another throw-in. Seahawks still trying to work the ball out of the back rather than just kick it upfield. Played in towards Rigby again, who kicks the ball towards the center of the box, looking for Barton. Now the foul will be against Landy. The Knights have another opportunity for a free kick, almost the exact same spot, just on the other side of the field. Mercer in the area for another opportunity. Looks like she will be the one taking it here. Now, if you're St. Mary's, Cora Jewell, the player to mark on this one. Looks like she takes a shot on goal. Tries to curl it towards the near post. Not enough power on that one. Looks like Sydney Larkin just able to come out and collect that one easily.
You know, I think she was doing that, throwing the defenders off because they're probably thinking the same thing. Cover Cora, don't let her get down there because she's going to be a threat. Hopefully trying to open up that box, but unable to come away with that goal.
Looking again for Rigby upfield. Ball rolls very quickly on this turf, though. Now it seems St. Mary's kind of going away from their short pass style and trying to find a few longer passes. You can see the game's really spread out now that there's been an opening goal.
Nice, just having just a little under 15 minutes here left in the first half.
St. Mary's trying to find those long passes. The Knights able to come away with that one. Good through ball. Taylor Mercer open in the middle of the field. Looks like she got a shot off, but there was a lot of contact on that. Now the Knights have a very good free kick opportunity just over 20 yards out, right in the middle of the field. Mercer on the ball again for the Knights. It wasn't afraid to shoot it from the farther side of the field, the near side of the field rather. Now with a good opportunity here. Looks like Cora Jewell's in the area. Mercer as well in the area.
You know, what can we expect here from Taylor? Being so close, right in almost dead center in the middle of the field.
This is a shot. I'm taking this shot. You're not going to be able to chip that one too well. Really, you can see a few Knights players within a few yards, but to get a chip that only goes about 10 yards in towards the PK line or something like that is very difficult. So if I'm Coach Cox, I'm allowing him to shoot this one. Trust your players. Trust that they can put this one on frame. Put the last one on frame from even farther out. Just not enough power on that one. So you don't want to see him try to sky it. Obviously, you do need some power on it, but you can't lean back too much. It's a common mistake of some soccer players to try to just power it through. Looks like the goalie putting the wall right in the middle and then playing right in the middle of the post as well. So I'm picking a post and I'm just shooting. Mercer does so. Looks like it sails just barely wide and maybe a little bit over. A good shot, though.
She was doing exactly what you were saying. She was trying to find that corner post.
Did a good job keeping it low. Just a little bit too far outside, though. Interesting tactic by the goalie, Sydney Larkin, not picking a post, not setting the wall on either side, just playing both right in the middle. That's something you don't see very often. Ground now. A couple of players maybe hitting knees and continuing the physicality that has been in this game from the beginning. And Powell with a really good step there for the Knights. Cyan Smith able to get back and help out on that one. Now the Knights try to work the ball out. Throw in for the Seahawks, but not before a substitution. Looks like we'll have number 31, Haley Bolus, enter the field, a freshman. St. Mary's recognizing they definitely need some attacking threats. Forward now entering the field with some fresh legs again. Hopefully bring some energy. Long cross into the middle of the box. Knights now trying to clear it away. Looks like Airdrie Palmer coming out with the ball there. All the way downfield, and now looking for Mercer. Unable to connect on that one. Seahawks definitely needed to make a step on that one. Knights still trying to work the ball up towards their strikers. Looks like Rigby leaves it for Cyan Smith. Cora Jewell tries to play it down into the corner. Looks like a little bit of a miscommunication on which one of the Knights was coming out with that one. Rigby does. Now the ball is cleared out by the Seahawks well upfield. Now Barton bringing the ball into the middle of the field again, trying to find a good splitting run there. Another great step there, Kayla Fairbanks. Might have collided knees or legs with the Seahawks attacker. Now the Knights switching fields quickly, trying to work the ball deeper into their own attacking third. Knights try to clear it out, hit it off of Van Powell, who comes out with the ball, though, and a lot of space on the sideline. Able to bring the ball about 30 yards upfield. Finds Barton on the side. Airdrie Palmer, rather. Now played in Cora Jewell in the middle, looking for Cyan Smith out on the wing. Gets the ball into the center, may have an opportunity for a shot. I've been just trying to lay that one off. Now Airdrie Palmer with a long shot. Sails wide of the goal. Knights make a couple of substitutions. Number 6, Shirley Morales-Yan enters the game. Defensive substitution there for the Knights. About 10 minutes left in the half. Their defense definitely has been working hard out there, though. Knights switching fields here, trying to bring the counterattack from the other end.
Knights doing a good job of keeping the pressure on the Seahawks defense. Playing down that other end of the 50.
Rigby putting some pressure on there, able to put enough on for the Knights to have a momentary possession. Now the ball is kicked away and it will be a throw in for the Seahawks. Seahawks make another substitution here. Looks like number 30, Madison Webb, entering the game.
Looks like the Seahawks player just kicking it off the Knights.
Meredith Willett comes out to scoop that one up. Long kick downfield, bounces over the head of the first defender. Taylor Mercer in the area. Looks like she's trying to head it on to a wing.
Got a good bounce there. Good job by Meredith. Getting a long kick.
Jewell steals the ball away there and is looking quickly upfield. Rigby keeping the pressure on. Knights do come away with possession. They'll have a throw in here. So they make another substitution. Looks like we'll have number 5, Alyssa Winterton, enter the game. The Knights pushing out Airdrie Palmer to the wing. Now Winterton will step on as a center midfielder. She does play almost like a center defensive mid. Knights definitely trying to keep their 1-0 lead going into halftime. Only have to hold out about 6 minutes, and they've done quite well keeping the Seahawks out of the attacking third.
As we see there, doing a good job not letting her go anywhere.
That's very disciplined defending. A lot of times defenders will get caught up in trying to poke the ball away or trying to be too aggressive and make a step and allowing the attacker to turn. Really, a lot of times the best solution is just to wait for them because they're thinking the same thing. They can't turn. The defender's right there. So really, it's kind of a stalemate for the most part. But a lot of times defenders will get impatient, try to poke it away and end up getting beat. But so far, the Knights doing a good job keeping everything in front of them. Now we'll see the Seahawks with an opportunity for a cross here. Played in a little bit behind. Shot deflected well. Long cross back downfield. Not particularly to any of the Seahawks, though, so the Knights will come away with possession. Long kick down towards the corner. Knights will get a throw in. Good split pass there by the Seahawks. They try to work the ball into the center, do so. Get a shot towards Meredith Ouellette, but not really too much on that one. No real danger there.
He's doing a good job of holding them off here with just under 4 minutes to go.
Powerful header there by Cora Jewell. That went over the back line of the Seahawks. Seahawks player almost able to make a pretty good turn on that one. Looks like Haley Bolus trying to beat the back line of the Knights with some trickery. Seahawks will make another substitution here. Good job by Taylor Mercer, and Cora Jewell forced the Seahawks to just play backwards. Now Cyan Smith shielding the ball out of bounds, earning a throw in for the Knights. Ball bounces over Rigby and a Seahawks defender. Now it looks like Kylie Auger trying to keep possession there. Ooh, Allie Rigby with a little bit of a move there. I think our first nutmeg of the game.
That had me lost. I didn't even know where she was going.
You know, it's unfortunate we don't keep stats on that. We should keep track of who has the most nutmegs on the team. I think that would be a very telling stat.
Hopefully the Knights can just keep them down here on this half of the field for the next minute.
Seem to be able to do so. A couple of players in the area. If you're St. Mary's, you definitely just want to clear this ball out. You don't want anything to happen here in the last 50 seconds of the first half. Then you can regroup, try to come out strong in the second half. trying to play it over the top there. Looking for something quick.
It looked like Knights player going for the head of the ball and just catching the, looks like number 21, Caitlin Moore.
Yeah, I think Cora Jewell is trying to head the ball back to one of her own defenders. Difficult to tell exactly what happened, but it looked like it may have hit heads a little bit. Cora Jewell seems to be fine. Caitlin Moore, on the other hand, difficult to say exactly what happened. Clearly in a lot of pain. The medical training staff will be addressing that. That's so unfortunate to see, especially with only 22 seconds remaining in the first half. You want to see every player able to play at their top form. Teams will have a quick meeting here, run to the sideline, see if they can get a word from Coach Cox. So unfortunate to see, but hopefully Caitlin Moore can stay in the game. She will have to step off momentarily, and I'm sure we'll just see a substitution for her with only 20 seconds left in the half. If the training staff does enter the field by rule, you do have to step off until you are allowed to re-enter by the referee. But I'm sure in this circumstance, we'll just see a substitution come on for her, and then she'll be allowed to re-enter in the second half. Looks like she is sitting up now, being addressed by the training staff. May have taken a hit to the nose. Those can just make your head ring, though, and make headers in the second half particularly difficult. She is able to get up and walk towards the sideline under her own power. That's good to see.
I think that's what it was just caught it right in the nose, gave her a little bit of a bloody nose. But still, those are, I mean, it may be your nose, but it's still your head.
Oh, yeah, I had one of those 2 years ago against, who was that against? Maybe York, and they are not friendly. I broke my nose against that one, though. That's the last thing we want to see. Caitlin Moore hopefully able to re-enter the game. Hopefully not a broken nose. Mine was within the last 5 minutes of the second half. What is it about the last few minutes of the half? Both teams just really physical, I guess. St. Mary's will have a free kick here. So this may be the last opportunity for either team to try to come away with anything. It's like both teams really just stacking one area. St. Mary's may just try to break out here. Try to get away from their marks. I think we may have had a little bit of blood on the field. So the training staff cleaning that up before play is resumed. Now, Nash, taking this into halftime, if you're Coach Cox, what are you pleased with from your Knights this afternoon?
You know, obviously you are definitely pleased with that free kick. Knights doing a great job there. Again, Cora Jewell, who is very, very threatening down there. I think that's her third goal, just down in the goalie box from free kicks, corner kicks. You know, she's probably going to tell her girls at halftime to keep it up. You know, defense doing a great job of shutting down the Seahawks offense. And, you know, I expect to see the same thing in the second half. Not much to change, really.
Yeah, really pretty consistent play by the Knights. Did a good job defensively. keeping the ball out wide. I think you saw a couple opportunities for the Seahawks. They brought the ball into the center of the field. Really unable to get away with too many clean shots. They had a couple of shots towards the goal, but by and large came away with deflected shots or very difficult shots at least. So I think you're right. If you're the Knights back line, you're pretty happy, Coach Cox. Not too much to address there. I think really the midfield is the only area where they can continue to address it. They're just giving away possession a little bit too much. But I think the Knights doing a good job in keeping their spacing. I think on the other side, if you're Coach Kretsch for the Seahawks, a couple of things to address. Maybe the tempo or the speed of play. It does seem to be their style of play to not go particularly quickly. They are a fairly composed and regulated team, but I think he may have a couple of things to address. Looks like we will have a drop ball to resume play. The Knights just kicking it towards the goal of the Seahawks in traditional fashion. Good to see the sportsmanship there, so we will not have a free kick awarded. The last 5 seconds of the game, nobody challenging anyone on any headers for that. And that will tick off the last few seconds. So as we mentioned, the Knights doing a pretty good job in the first half. They're able to get away with a goal on a cross in from Taylor Mercer on a free kick. Cora Jewell took a little bit of a deflection off the post and then is able to finish the shot into the back of the net with about 18 minutes left in the first half. Now both teams will be taking a break, already having taken a little bit of a break there, so more of an extended halftime.
You know, I expect to see another great half here by the Knights. You know, taking advantage of their free kicks. You know, not much to say, really.
Yeah, really been a pretty consistent half. Both teams mostly playing in the middle of the field. I think it's whoever's going to come out with the possession, the better possession, and also just the better control. So that'll go ahead and do it for us here in the first half. Go ahead and join us in the second half in about 15 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the fields here at Southern Virginia University for this women's soccer matchup between the St. Mary's Seahawks and your Southern Virginia Knights. Quick recap of the first half. On a Taylor Mercer free kick cross in, Cora Jewell is able to score 27 minutes into the first half, and the Knights took a 1-0 lead into halftime. Little presentation at halftime, and now we resume for the second half. St. Mary's trying to bring this game level, and the Knights doing anything they can to just come away with their third conference win here. So far, we've seen most of the game played in the middle of the field, though. For the most part, neither team having particular success. I think the Knights coming off a little bit better, though. They did have 7 shots in the first half to St. Mary's 3. We've seen some very uncharacteristic things as well. Neither team has a corner kick yet so far in this game, which is very interesting.
Yeah, that is a little off here in this game. Both teams doing a really good job on defense. As you said, keeping them inside each other's 40s, really, not really getting outside of that. Knights doing a really good job, though, finding some of those through balls, but also capitalizing off those free kicks. Hopefully we'll see here in the second half a little bit more free kicks, maybe, hopefully corner kicks, but should be another consistent half.
Yeah, definitely been a little bit off from the pace that we're used to seeing from the Knights. The Knights only with 1 save in the first half, so largely Meredith Ouellette having a fairly slow game, and really that save wasn't anything particularly dangerous either. She almost came with it pretty easily. St. Mary's only being challenged a couple of times, came with 2 saves, both teams with 3 fouls in the first half as well. St. Mary's bringing the ball down quickly, though. Trying to get a cross in. Looks like it'll just fall over the end line, and it'll be a goal kick for the Knights. St. Mary's trying to put the pressure on early, though. And now St. Mary's on the other end of the sun as well. So now we will see Meredith Ouellette have a half in the shade, and Sydney Larkin on the other end will have the sun in her eyes. Does contribute largely.
As you can see, a little bit of wind too, heading out towards the west. Maybe a little bit of a factor, maybe not too big, because it's not too much of a strong wind, but yeah, as you said, the sun now beating down into Sydney's eyes. Hopefully the Knights can take that to their advantage and get some more shots on goal.
Yeah, they did have a pretty long-range shot in the first half as well. Airdrie Palmer shot it from about 30-plus yards out. And those shots are much more likely to either be deflected or just get past the goalie, because if it goes up in the air at all, it is incredibly difficult to see. So the Knights not afraid to shoot from range. I'm sure we'll continue to see that here in the second half.
Both teams having a total each of 3 fouls.
Also, we should mention after this women's game is over, there will be a small break, and then the men's team takes on the St. Mary's Seahawks as well. So stick around for that one. St. Mary's coming out with a lot more attacking pressure. You can see about 5 players up in the attacking third for them. Recognizing the importance of this game, this is a conference matchup, and so these wins definitely allow your season to continue or not, so both teams really trying to get one here.
Yeah, St. Mary's looking to be 4th here in the Capital Athletic Conference, with Southern Virginia sitting down at 6th. Southern Virginia comes away with this win, they most likely switch spots, and Southern Virginia being tied for 4th with Penn State Harrisburg.
Let's find Taylor Mercer in the center of the field, trying to bring the ball up into the corner, looking for Barton. Now Jensen on the ball, plays it off to Cora Jewell, plays it down into the corner. Let's try to get a cross into the center. Ball played just a little bit too far ahead. Larkin will just come up and grab that one. McCall Jensen with a great turn and then looking for Taylor Mercer in the center. Seahawks try to play the ball into the middle of the field, and Powell steps up. Will be able to come out with that one and keep the ball in bounds. Tries to clear it out. St. Mary's comes away with that one. Cyan Smith with a really high kick to keep the ball out of the box there, and now Mercer bringing the ball upfield for the Knights. Has a couple of players ahead of her. Plays it up to Barton. Now McCall Jensen puts it down into the corner. But again, Larkin just able to scoop that one up easy.
Seahawks putting a little bit of pressure there on the Knights offense.
Kayla Fairbanks take the throw for the Knights. Throws it over the head of two Seahawks. Ball will roll out. Martin doing a good job keeping pressure on, is able to get the ball back for the Knights momentarily, but now the Seahawks with a good counter of their own play the ball deep into the corner, and Powell in a foot race there. Able to kick that one out so the Knights can regroup in the defense.
Barton doing a great job there, putting pressure on her.
Seahawks making a run right up the middle of the field. Good job by Kayla Fairbanks stepping up. Had to make the tackle on that one because there was two defenders, or two attackers rather, behind her. Now we see a lot of contact in a couple of different areas. Ref electing to allow play to go on. Now the Knights come away, bringing the ball downfield. Mercer in the center. Ball thrown into McCall Jensen. Tries to shield it off to open up some field. Great turn, allows the Knights to work the ball down into the corner. Looking for Rigby. Pass may just be a little bit long. Falls off the end line. Seahawks will have a goal kick.
Nice low kick there by Sydney Larkin. You know, this game's been not crazy physical, but you know, it's come and go.
It's definitely been active. Yeah.
Come and go with a little bit of physicality, you know, seeing some girls go down, seeing a couple girls injured. We saw Caitlin Moore right before the half ended. Looked like she kind of got a header to the nose. Might have triggered a little bit of a bloody nose. Hopefully to see her back in the game.
Definitely a tough one to take in the first half. Hopefully she will be able to just be fine and continue to play. See quite a few more players upfield though for the Seahawks. Knights doing a good job maintaining their spacing in the defense. Now the ball gets through, but Meredith Willette will scoop that one up easily. Good move there to get around one of the Knights' attackers.
You know, it's changed just a little bit from the first half. You know, as we said, the first half kind of staying inside the 35s, a little bit of the 40s. This game's a little bit more spread out. You know, both teams been getting down to the other sides, other ends of the field, those attacking thirds. But so far, neither team coming away with a goal.
Yeah, I think since the goal in the first half, both teams have started to really kind of spread out and settle down a little bit more. Yeah, as you mentioned, the first half largely played probably within the 30-yard lines on the football field, so just the middle of the field. But I think since the goal, both teams have really opened up, and especially here in the second half, the Seahawks recognizing they need to keep the pressure up. So they have 5 or 6 attackers in the area, forcing the Knights to bring back another midfielder, another defender. And although they have had some good opportunities to expand out as they continue to do so here, I think the Knights do recognize a 1-0 lead will win the game. You know, if they can continue to maintain that for the next 35 minutes. You see a lot of contact on that one too. Ref electing to allow play to continue yet again. Now the Seahawks will have a throw in deep in their attacking third. Long throw into the middle of the box. And Powell able to clear that one away. Now we'll have a different player take the throw in, Emily Huey, with a throw about the same length. It'll be a goal kick for the Knights. I think both teams have kind of strayed away from their traditional style of play that they favor, and now I think both teams kind of trying to find a little bit of an identity. Seahawks probably not used to having 4 or 5 strikers up in the midfield. You can see, though, right about the 30-yard line, they do have 5 players within 5 yards. So credit to the Knights' back line for able to keep them marked and in control, and even provide the midfield some opportunities to move the ball upfield and get a good counterattack. Great ball played down into the corner. Taylor Mercer running onto that one. Has a couple of Knights in the area. Takes a shot towards the far post. Sails just over. What a great opportunity, though. Taylor Mercer making the most of what she had there.
Taylor Mercer doing a great job so far in this game. I think that'll be her,
I believe her 5th shot of the game.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
And, you know, all those shots, they haven't been that far off. You know, Taylor had a free kick in the first half. Where the Seahawks set up both. They set up their wall in the middle where the goalie was set up in the middle too, and she trying to find that top right corner. Just missed it. And as you can see again, going for that upper right side, just sailing right over the crossbar.
Seahawks trying to answer with a counter of their own. Nice, doing a good job getting back and switching the play quickly. And Powell with a great step there to keep the ball out of the middle of the field. Now we'll have a couple substitutions. Both teams making a couple substitutions there, and the throw-in is then taken quickly after those. Seahawks even bringing up their back line to try to keep the ball anywhere downfield that they can. Saw this style earlier from St. Mary's, but their back line was much farther back, about 20 or 30 yards. So that's a good tactical change that they're trying to make to keep the pressure on. Ooh, dangerous play there. A couple Seahawks closing down on Ann Powell, who was trying to shield it off for Meredith Ouellette, but ball just didn't go quite as far as they thought it was going to.
Yeah, Knights doing a good job right there, taking away that opportunity for the Seahawks. Getting really close.
St. Mary's still trying to bring the ball into the middle of the field. Cora Jewell comes away with it, plays it up to McCall Jensen, tries to shield off for another runner, but is unable to do so. Now the Seahawks will have a throw in. Now the Knights will have a throw in and have another opportunity for a substitution. Looks like Airdrie Palmer re-enters the game for the Knights.
Looks like Nora Howard for the Seahawks checking in.
Long throw downfield towards McCall Jensen, who again tries to shield the ball off, but the Seahawks bring 3 defenders and really close down quickly. Now they get another throw in deep in the attacking third. We've seen a couple of these already, but the Knights did a good job the first few times. Long throw in towards the center of the box. The Knights, the only players in the area. Mercer doing a good job not allowing the cross in on the initial. Ball does come into the box, but Cora Jewell is able to stop that one. Seahawks continue to keep the pressure on, and now Ann Powell able to clear that one well downfield. Good job by the entire Knights defense and some of the midfielders getting in to keep the ball away from the Seahawks there.
You know, I think right there the Seahawks were trying to get a kick off one of the Knights defender, hoping to get a corner kick maybe for the first time in the game. Just Knights doing a great job of just clearing the ball out.
Both teams really looking for a breakthrough and a little bit of a change in their style of play. So far, clashing styles have mostly just resulted in neither team able to run exactly what they want to. The Seahawks have had the opportunity, though, in the half, in their half of the field a few more times, I think. A good step there. Looks like Kylie Auger moves up for the ball, steals it away, and now the Seahawks, in an effort to find it deep in the corner, will kick it off the end line. Be a goal kick from Meredith Ouellette. They try to bring the ball out, but Seahawks keeping a lot of pressure on, and now they're forced to just kick the ball downfield. Try to expand out from there.
Here with about 26 minutes left here in the second half. This is about where Cora Jewell scored in the first half with about 26 minutes left. Hopefully the Knights can get back down on their end of the field on the attacking third. Hopefully to come away with another goal.
And I think given how this first part of the game is played out, if either team, particularly the Knights, were to get another goal, that might just do it. St. Mary's not particularly a high-scoring team, so usually a 2-0 lead would be fairly comfortable for the Knights, I think, as they've had such a solid defensive game so far as well. Barton with a good steal finds Jensen working upfield and then is able to get the ball back, trying to bring it into the corner. Good pressure by the Seahawks, trying to pull that one away from her, though.
You know, doing a good job there with the 1-2 pass.
Now the Seahawks trying their own tactic, bring the ball well up the sideline. The Knights usually have a pretty good success with that. Now the Seahawks really bringing it down deep, and Powell steps out hard, is able to pull that one away, and now we see the ball does not cross over the end line just yet, and now it will, and will be a Knights goal kick. St. Mary's really bringing the physicality, though, to try to get the ball in towards the goal. It's like Shirley Morales-Yan re-enters the game for the Knights. Number 21, Caitlin Moore for the Seahawks as well. Seahawks really just trying to force the ball downfield, doing anything they can to pin the Knights deep. It's a difficult strategy to try to run efficiently. Great pass there from Jewell over to Palmer. Tries to work the ball into the corner. Now the goalie forced to come well off her line, and Larkin just clears that ball out to the side. Knights with a good opportunity here in the middle of the field. Barton still on the ball for the Knights, plays it off to Jensen. Jensen with a good turn and plays it back to Barton. Now the Seahawks recognizing that and able to pull that one away from her.
Yeah, Seahawks defense doing a good job there, taking away that opportunity for the Knights to maybe score another goal to, you know, take this game out of hand.
Knights unable to control that one. It'll be a Seahawks throw in. Allie Rigby re-enters the game for the Knights. As they take another throw-in opportunity here. Anytime the Knights players get the ball with any sort of time, you see a lot of the Seahawks just really start to shut down, and you get about 2 or 3 of them in the area. Good job trying to keep the Knights away from any sort of a brace goal. Mercer able to come all the way across the field to get the possession back on that one. Plays it over to Rigby, who only has one defender to beat. Gets a good shot towards the goal. Unfortunately, Sidney Larkin in the right position. What a great shot, though, from Rigby on a great pass from Mercer.
Yeah, Ali really dangerous, who is very, very dangerous in the open field situation. Just does a great job there for the Knights. Great shot. Just Larkin just in the right place.
Knights continue to knock on the door, though. Cora Jewell steals that one away. Now the Knights with another opportunity here, bringing the ball upfield. It's like trying to play it down into the corner. A little bit of a miscommunication there. The Seahawks come away with the ball. Now play it downfield again. A couple of Knights defenders in the area. And Powell steals that one and turns it right back around for the Knights.
Just getting under 20 minutes. Knights still holding that good 1-0 lead. Only giving the Seahawks just a couple of times down there, and they're attacking third. The Knights do a really good job of clearing the ball out.
Yeah, I think I'm sure we'll see a foul here. A lot of contact going on for a little while. The ref does award a free kick to the Knights. Yeah, and I think just as you mentioned, with about 20 minutes left in the game, although the game has been mostly played in the middle of the field in the first half, I'm curious to see how much fatigue will start to set in. Both teams obviously in pretty prime shape as they're in the latter half of their season, but you do start to wonder if we'll see some more substitutions come on, as both teams have, made quite a few runs, and soccer does take a toll. Even if the ball's played close, you still cut around a lot and accelerate quickly. So I wonder who the Knights will have to bring on, and the Seahawks as well.
Still no corner kick here in the game.
Number 3, Emma Landy does re-enter, though, for the Knights. Another one of those really quick midfielder defenders. Mercer with another good opportunity here, tries to play it in. Knights do get a shot off towards the goal. Unable to come out again, though. Their second shot in about 2 minutes, though. Good to see them keeping the pressure on here.
We said that earlier here in the half. Knights need to take advantage of that sun that's playing down into Larkin's eyes.
I like to see him not content with a 1-0 lead, though. 1-0 does win the game, but that also keeps St. Mary's very close to taking away some valuable points for the Knights. A win is much more than a draw in that regard, so good to see. A lot of teams sometimes will just get content with 1-0 and start to park the bus in front of the goal, but the Knights keeping the pressure on and not allowing St. Mary's to score by keeping the ball in their attacking third, as they have another opportunity here. Ball's crossed into the center of the box. 2 Knights in the area. Keep the pressure in, but the Seahawks clear that one downfield yet again. Now the Knights have an opportunity to regroup on a throw-in. Ball switches fields. Now the Seahawks trying to bring it down into the corner again. Morales-Yan keeps pressure on. He's able to clear the ball away. Long throw in towards the box, and Powell the first to get ahead on that. Nice step there to not allow a clean shot to come in. And the ball's cleared out again momentarily. Both teams kind of struggling to find a good possession, and now Mercer with a great pass here opens it up for Airdrie Palmer down the sideline. Brings the ball deep to the end line, looking for a cross into the center. Unable to connect. Taylor Mercer right there. The Seahawks stepping in front and just clearing that ball out. Knights not able to keep possession on that one. Now the Seahawks will bring the ball downfield. Quite a few St. Mary's players in the area. Corjul able to clear that one out and takes a hit for it. Knights really continue to try to bring the pressure and get the ball upfield as much as they can. Which is a smart tactic. Obviously, you're trying to get the goal, but also it does take time off the clock because there's less than 15 minutes remaining in this game. I think we're going to start to see some of the urgency by St. Mary's as well. Really start to throw some players forward. They already have about 4 or 5 players in an attacking position, but you know, as time winds down, you start to need to risk more and more. Good opportunity here as they bring the ball towards the center of the box. Ball hits the post and goes out for our first corner kick of the game. Meredith Ouellette may have gotten a touch on it towards the post. St. Mary's, what a dangerous shot there, trying to sneak that one in on a near post. Now let's see what St. Mary's has drawn up on a corner play. Looks like they do have quite a few players at the top of the arch. The 18 and 1 player on the goalie. And now they all run around one player and the ball falls almost to no one. And Powell brings the ball out for the Knights. Good job keeping the ball there. Only one defender to beat.
And doing a great job right there. Just, you know, taking the ball to herself. Just, you know, trying to make a play happen. Doing a good job of getting around Seahawks defenders.
That is the greatest feeling in the world for a center back to do that. You feel like a striker. Ball played in towards Barton again. Tries to turn. Able to find another pass. Knights keep their possession alive. Ref elects to play the advantage. And now Barton uses that advantage to allow St. Mary's to earn a free kick in their own defensive third. If I'm the Knights, I might have taken that foul, though. Although the possession in the attacking third didn't really work out, I might want to take that foul about 30 yards out. That worked for him in the first half. I'd definitely go back to it. Palmer with a couple of turns there for the Knights. St. Mary's again with an opportunity to bring the ball up the side, and Powell keeping the pressure on. Ball's played in with a splitting run towards the opposite end of the field. Meredith Willett recognizing that. Coming up and taking a few more valuable seconds off the clock. Just over 10 minutes left in this game. The Knights only need to hold on, and they will have their third win in the Capital Athletic Conference. St. Mary's brings the ball into the middle of the box. Quite a few players in the area. Willett able to jump and just grab that one before anything's allowed to happen there. Rolls it out to Barton quickly.
Yeah, Meredith doing a great job here in this game. You know, on that right before that corner kick, Seahawks put a little pressure on her, got a shot on goal. Meredith able to close that right side of the goal.
Interesting slide tackle there. May not have worked exactly like she wanted it to, but it did get the ball away. The Knights will have a throw in deep in their own attacking third. Looks like we'll have Cyan Smith re-enter the game for the Knights and Emily Huey for the Seahawks. Trying to bring on some more attacking pressure with just over 9 minutes left in the game. Seahawks in desperate need of a goal here. Great cross into the middle of the field. Barton tries to split two defenders. Now the Seahawks bring their own counter downfield. Another long pass deep into the corner. Both teams trying to take advantage of the long ball with just over 8 minutes left in the game. Start to see a little bit more desperation. Now we'll see a high kick, and the Knights get a free kick in their defensive third. A good opportunity for them to just try to clear the ball out here.
Knights just needing to hold off the Seahawks for another 8 minutes to hopefully get their third conference win in a row.
Barton again with the ball in the center. Had an opportunity for a pass, but the Seahawks shut it down early, and now Cora Jewell plays the ball into the other corner. Auger in the area, and it looks like an opportunity here. Airdrie Palmer right in the area, but Larkin came off her line and shut that one down.
Looks like we'll have a Seahawks player down there on the field around the 17-yard line.
Looks like there was some contact a little bit there. Could be a cramp as well. She seems to be stretching out her calf, grabbing her leg just a little bit. Kind of hard to tell. There was quite a few players in the area. And now we'll have a drop ball. Both teams continue to just fight for the possession here. The ball did cross over the line. It'll be a throw in.
You know, Knights looking like they have all their players down here in the other side of the field, and the Seahawks attacking third.
Seahawks stacking the goal line on this one. Now the ball comes in. A lot of players with a lot of contact, and the ref awards a free kick to the Knights. Looked like Emma Landy may have been the player that earned it there for the Knights, but quite a few people getting involved in that one.
You know, that's great for the Knights because great way to get the Seahawks out of that end of the field, not giving them an opportunity to score.
Looks like the Knights may have taken that one too quickly, may have been in the wrong spot. I think the Seahawks are going to be upset with that one because that took about 30 plus seconds off the clock, so bringing that one back didn't necessarily change anything, but it just took a lot of valuable time off of the clock. Let's make another substitution. Taylor Mercer re-enters the game for the last 5 minutes. I think the Seahawks coach does want to address the 30 seconds that came off of the clock, and we'll see a red card here for the coach. He will be forced to leave the game. Definitely not happy at all with the time management of the clock. Does have a little bit of a case, but he may have said something that merited a red card for that to happen. He would have had to use some choice words or some harsh phrases, so the coach has been awarded a red card, and Peter Kretsch will not be coaching for the last 5 minutes of this game.
No, I think that'll be the first red card here for the Seahawks on the season. Obviously, there was just something that the coach did not like, and you know, I bet he's the type of guy that if he thinks that something's wrong, he's gonna tell you.
Seems to be so, although there are reasonable ways of doing that. From our position here, we're not able to hear what he said or anything of that nature, but the ruling on a red card does necessitate some level of aggression, and so those red cards are not given lightly. Peter Kretsch is in his 4th season, a very experienced coach, knows the program well, knows what he's doing, but you have to be careful what you say to the referee in any circumstance. And now Kayla Fairbanks re-enters the game for the Knights. Looks like the referee having a word with the sideline here before play is allowed to continue. The Knights 4 minutes and 30 seconds away from their 3rd conference win and a huge momentum shift. This would be 3 wins in a row for them, and in conference play, that is the best case scenario. Ball's crossed in here towards Mercer. Tries to bring it down in the corner. Seahawks step well on that one and pull the ball away from her. Still with an opportunity here, though. Played back out to Mercer on the sideline now.
Yeah, as you said, this could be their 3rd conference win. You know, being huge here. The Knights are 2-3 in the conference. With this one moving to 3-3, which would match up, you know, against Penn State Harrisburg for 4th place. Frostburg being 3-1-1, who's in 3rd place, and both Christopher Newport and Salisbury being undefeated here
This would be a huge win for them if they were able to move up in the tables. And also it would turn St. Mary's, push them down in the tables. Though St. Mary's not done yet, keeping a lot of pressure on here. I'm sure we're going to see more players continue to just pour forward. You already see about 5 in the attack as they earn a throw in here. I'm sure it'll be long thrown into the box as we've seen. Knights trying to regroup quickly. Ball does fall into the center of the box. Kick towards the goal, and I believe that will be an own goal against the Knights. Quite a few players in the area. It looked like may have been Airdrie Palmer that had the last touch on it. Ouellette came out to try to scoop that one up and was unable to do so. So unfortunate for the Knights, just a heartbreaker as that draws the game level with 3 minutes left. That's the danger to those throw-ins, though. The ball just bounces around in the box. A lot of shins in the area, just hitting everybody's feet. And now I'm sure St. Mary's perfectly happy to come away with a 1-1 here, as they've been down almost the entire game. We see the pressure ease off almost immediately. They're happy to come away with that now, though.
No, Sam, I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say about that. I'm just shocked. You know, that ball sitting right in front of the goal box gets kicked around and, you know, just comes off the wrong foot and rolls right past Meredith.
Yeah, you got to just clear that one away. There's no benefit to trying to work that one out right in front of the goal. So unfortunate. Knights not able to step and clear that one away. They've been so consistent for the first 88 minutes of the game, and then not able to come away with that one, as we'll see a free kick here on a very late challenge. May even see a card. The card is given to the St. Mary's defender on that one, but St. Mary's has been awarded a free kick, so the late challenge definitely awarded or merited a free kick, but then the card may have been for something that the Knights or the Seahawks defender said after the play. That can be the only reason I can think of for getting a card there. She had earned the foul cleanly and may have said something the ref didn't appreciate. Now we'll see another shot come in towards the middle of the goal, but Ouellette able to get her hands on that one quickly. Now the Knights with 90 seconds trying to get another opportunity here. Such a thin line between pushing players up for the last 90 seconds and trying not to get caught off guard on a counter here. The Seahawks with a counter quickly, and Powell in the area. Seahawks get a shot off, but goes right into the hands of Meredith Ouellette. Dodge a bullet on that one. Very close.
Yeah, Meredith doing a great job there.
Both teams frantically running around trying to get the ball downfield. Knights with 20 seconds left take the throw in to try to work it into the middle. Seahawks come away with the ball, though. They may have one more opportunity here. Ball is played long downfield into the corner. In a foot race with Ann Powell. But that'll do it here for regulation time. St. Mary's able to come away with a goal with about 3 minutes remaining to draw this match level. What a turn of events in the last couple minutes there.
Yeah, seriously, you know, that's tough for the Knights. Hopefully they can come in here to the next 10 minutes. You know, what do you think Coach Cox has to say to her girls?
I think she's just got to match the emotion. I'm sure they're frustrated as well. They didn't want to give that goal up, so they're coming in with passion here too. So I think all she needs to do is kind of try to work that in and take advantage of that, as we will now enter overtime. There will be 2 10-minute overtime periods, and it is golden goal in conference play. So the first team to score will be the winner here. I think both teams really with a pretty good opportunity to continue to score. They really poured the pressure forward, and then I think the Knights just unlucky a little bit on their own goal there. So we will have 2 10-minute overtime periods. We'll go ahead and step away for a minute. Please join us again in a few minutes as we begin the overtime periods here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this overtime period between your Southern Virginia Knights and the St. Mary's Seahawks. The Seahawks did, allow an own goal, I guess is a better term to say than scored a goal, with about 3 minutes remaining in regulation to draw it level, and now we will have two 10-minute overtime periods that are a golden goal, so the first team to score will conclude the game, and I think both teams are trying to score quickly here. Neither team wants to mess around with this, trying to get their third win in conference, and a huge win as it would turn the tables for whoever was to come out with a win here. The Knights did such a good job of keeping the pressure on. Unfortunately, just one mistake by their defense today really had them pay for it.
You know, right before that own goal, St. Mary's coach getting a red card. Coach Kretsch. We don't know much about that. We figure that words were said and he was not allowed to come back into this game. But right after that, Knights allowing the own goal.
Such a tough change of momentum, such a difficult turn of events, and I'm sure that affected the end of regulation time speech before the overtime periods, as you mentioned, Peter Kretsch not on the field anymore. So one of the assistant coaches, I'm not sure who at this point, but one of the assistant coaches having to address the team before the overtime periods. For the other side, on the Knights, Coach Cox able to have some words with her team, and I'm sure trying to corral some of the momentum. These Knights still with a lot of momentum here, a lot of energy left to play, and plenty of substitutions that can come on and play. Looks like we will have an offsides call here against the Seahawks. Elected to play short by the Knights. Now, the Knights have been in an overtime game before in which they were able to come out with a win. In that, Taylor Mercer against Randolph was able to get the second goal of the game with about 1 minute left in the first overtime period. So I'm sure she's thinking the same thing, having been there before and still in the attack for the Knights. Mercer, though, not the only dangerous attacker that the Knights have used to score this season. Cora Jewell with a goal already in the game on an assist from Mercer. So the Knights do have quite a few players that are willing to put the ball in the back of the net. They just need to work it up and get the opportunity to do so. Knights do work the ball upfield here. See the intent, just trying to work those 1-2 passes. Now the Seahawks bring the ball into the middle of the field here and have an opportunity. The Knights close down quickly. Looks like they did have two players trying to shield her off there, like Ann Powell and Cora Jewell both getting involved heavily to not allow a clean shot to get through. Lane Brooks there for the Seahawks, trying to end this game. Knights with a good flick on there to Rigby. Now the Seahawks again pushing the ball down the sideline, play into the center, but Willette able to pick up the ball on the shield from Ann Powell. Again, the Seahawks use their usual strategy, work the ball out to the side and then try to play it into the middle to get a shot opportunity.
You know, both defensive have done a good job here in this game. Just both defenses shutting down. The Knights looking to move back up the field.
Great steal there by Landy. Plays it off to Jewell. He now turns, tries to find Rigby upfield. Lays it off to Barton. Cyan Smith getting in on the attack for the Knights. A couple of long passes downfield, and now the Seahawks get the possession in their own defensive third. Great step to keep that one there by Cora Jewell. Now the Seahawks try to work it up the other side of the field on the far side. A lot of energy here from the Seahawks. We didn't see them running around quite this much during the regulation period as we do here in the first 6 minutes of the overtime ones. They're not afraid to just get the ball and run with it now, which is the exact opposite of what we saw for the first 90 minutes, I think.
Yeah, the Seahawks playing a kind of a conservative game in the beginning. You know, a little bit like, ooh, a little bit of contact there. Looks like the ref allowing to play on. Oh,
a lot more contact there.
Coming back to give it right back to her.
Now the Knights have a good opportunity here for a counter. Try to switch field. And now another countering opportunity. Ann Powell in the area. Goes to the ground. Meredith Willett comes out and blocks the ball. Seahawks may have another opportunity, but Willett able to turn and dive on that one. What a great job. Meredith Willett, largely uneventful 90 minutes, and now making a couple of great saves there on a last-ditch effort to keep this game alive.
Meredith doing a great job right there, running up and getting that ball away. You know, the Seahawks the Seahawks striker looking to get the ball back, but Meredith on the ground already scoops that ball up and gets that ball out. Great job.
This is something we didn't see from the Seahawks during the entire regulation period. They really didn't like to just play a ball over the top and hope one of their strikers is fast enough to run onto it. But as we've entered the overtime, that is the strategy they've used so far. They just clear the ball out as far as they can and then hope they can outrun the Knights.
You know, as I was saying earlier, the Seahawks kind of playing this like a little bit like a Mayweather fight. They're kind of, you know, sitting back, letting the Knights use all their energy, and then, you know, as we come down to this end of the game, they're starting to come back with the punches and putting the pressure on the Knights. But Knights doing a good job so far here in overtime. Looking with about 2 minutes left.
And really, with the exception of the own goal, quite a good job in the regulation period as well. Seahawks bring the ball into the box. And Powell able to keep that deflection off goal. And now St. Mary's will have another corner kick, one of the few that we've had in this game.
I think this will be the third corner kick for the Seahawks. And the Knights haven't had any in this game.
Seahawks crowding the box as much as they can. Looks like the ref signaling towards Ann Powell may have some sort of equipment malfunction, maybe a turf burn, showing a little bit of blood on the uniform. It will be addressed by the athletic training staff. Looks like she is getting her knee treated, as she did have a pretty physical and aggressive couple of plays there, getting involved heavily with some of the Seahawks attackers. Looks like we will have a brief substitution. Alyssa Winterton comes into the game to replace Ann Powell for this corner kick. This is a tough corner as well, as the ball's coming in from the side with the sun. See a lot of players putting their hand over their eye, trying to just allow the vision to be there. Ball does come in towards the 6-yard box. Quite a few players in the area. Knights able to push that one about 30 yards out and now continue to expand out quickly. Seahawks try to just force the ball back into one of the two strikers up top, but Ouellette quickly off her line and able to clear that one well downfield, about towards the midfield mark. Last minute of this overtime period does see a kick right into the stomach of one of the Knights defenders. We will see a card here against the Seahawks. Yeah, that's just a play where you're not thinking with your head, you're just trying to get towards the goal, but obviously the Knights defenders are in the area, so you do have to counter those kicks accordingly. And now we'll have another very physical play against the Knights, and the Knights are in a free kick about 40 yards up from where their last one was. They do have about 30 seconds. The Knights trying to take it quickly. Ball's crossed in towards the center, towards Cora Jewell, unable to get a good head on it, and it comes back out. Knights play it in towards the corner again. Rigby in the area. Has about 15 seconds left on the clock. Knights will have a throw in here. Cyan Smith trying to throw that one into the box. May just not be enough here. Long shot from distance, but that'll do it here for the first overtime period. Neither team able to come away with any goals here. Now we'll have a brief 5-minute intermission before resuming for the second 10-minute overtime period. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second overtime period here. Both teams still looking for that golden goal opportunity. St. Mary's bringing the pressure early here, too. Knights able to clear that one away quickly, though, and Powell doing a good job anchoring the back line for the defense. So far, really only one hiccup on the game. Kind of an unfortunate own goal that did end up at the back of the net, but really, by and large, back line of the Knights kept them in this game, not allowing Meredith Ouellette to have too busy of an afternoon.
You know, as we've gotten into this second part of overtime, you know, the first part of overtime, and you know, a little bit of the second half, it's been very physical. A lot of bodies on the ground. Both teams just coming out fast and strong here in this second part of the game.
Even the coaches getting heavily involved in some of the banter and physicality, I guess, with Peter Kretsch did receive a red card with a few minutes left in regulation, and now the Seahawks are coached by an assistant coach. Meredith Ouellette takes the goal kick. A little bit shorter than her normal ones. She has been pretty heavily involved here in this game, so, well, particularly in the overtime period, so we may see a little more fatigue than we normally do at this point in the game. See Coach Cox really trying to wave her team forward, recognizing that the more time that comes off the clock, the harder it gets to try to score one of those goals. They only need one here.
You know, Allie Rigby doing a great job right there, trying to get down and just almost coming away with the ball in the open space.
It is such a thin line both teams are trying to play with, because you do want to push up as many players as you can. But if you get scored on, the game's over, and a draw is definitely better than a loss. But at the same time, a win is better than either. So, you know, it is such a thin line to know who can push forward and who needs to stay back. Both teams really trying to find that balance here now. Barton plays the ball down towards a couple of Knights attackers. Jewel with another header over the top. Seen quite a few of those from her today.
We definitely have. In the first half, you know, she came in with a header. Just accidentally caught a number 21, Caitlin Moore, right in the nose. Kind of took her out of the first half, but she was okay, and she checked back into the game later in the second half.
Ball will roll out for a Knights throw-in. You can almost start to feel some of the desperation. Both teams really want a goal here. Only 6 minutes left. The other interesting thing that does factor into these games is the physical fatigue. You know, does make it harder to run. It makes it tougher on the legs, but also on the mind. You start to maybe think you can make passes that aren't quite as close or as far as you think they were. Sometimes the mental fatigue even more. Taylor Mercer with a good through ball here. Unfortunately not able to come out with that one. Larkin well off her line. Able to just end that threat quickly. Now the ball just being kicked around all over the field. Anyone trying to come down with it and retain the possession that both teams are really trying to keep a hold of. Ball kicked well downfield, will enter the hands of Ouellette yet again. Now Barton trying to make another run up the sideline here. Good passing by the Knights. Jewell with a great move. Might have had our second nutmeg of the game there.
We are going to start keeping track of those.
We really should. I think particularly in overtime periods, those are useful. We'll see a foul against Cora Jewell here, and now the Seahawks have an opportunity for a free kick. Ooh, Mercer almost able to touch that one around one of the last Seahawk defenders, but now St. Mary's coming away with an attack of their own. Takes a shot towards the goal. Meredith Ouellette pushes that one just wide. What a save to keep the Knights alive here with 4 minutes left. What a brilliant dive by Ouellette to keep that one out of the goal.
That was an awesome save there by Meredith.
So hard to stay mentally engaged that long and then respond that quickly. Such a good job, and now St. Mary's will have another corner kick here. Looks like the ball falls over the end line, and now the Knights will just take a goal kick away from that one. No real danger there. Surprised to see that one do that. You really want to try to take advantage of those. You don't have too many more of those for St. Mary's. Really haven't had that many in this game. Only their fourth corner of the game.
Knights really needing to push the ball down to their attacking third with only 3 minutes left here in the game. You know, and it's possible to score with 3 minutes left, as we saw in the end of the second half.
St. Mary's trying to cross the ball in there. Knights doing a good job of getting in front of any potential. Now they earn a throw in.
Looks like they'll just give it right back to St. Mary's.
Long throw in towards the center of the box. Sails over the head of any of the attackers in the area. Knights clear the ball downfield yet again. Great move there by one of the Seahawks defenders to try to turn the ball, turn the play.
Great move there by Clarissa Barton.
Great defense on the other end. That is a very difficult slide to try to make because very little contact is going to be allowed. So Cora Jewell, very good with the slide tackles. We've seen a lot of good play from her today. The physicality continues throughout this game on both ends. Both teams fighting any way they can to try to get the ball in the back of the net. Landy tries to clear that one out there, unable to do so, and now both teams just continue to kick the ball around to break through the back line. Now we see McCall Jensen re-enter the game here. That's very interesting to see Allie Rigby come off the field with only 45 seconds remaining. Coach Cox may have something in mind here that me and Nash are definitely not aware of.
You know, Coach Cox is here in her second season. She, being a Southern Virginia alum, playing here, and you know, she probably has something in store here for the last 20 seconds.
Sure she does. Definitely, as you mentioned, very experienced in her time as a goalkeeper here. think with 10 seconds left, neither team is going to be able to get any real opportunity here. And that will do it here at the Fields, with the St. Mary's College Seahawks tying the Southern Virginia Knights 1-1. So unfortunate to see, because the Knights did such a good job for the entire game, keeping St. Mary's out of it, and then just an unfortunate deflection, couple of deflections, result in an own goal falling in with about 3 minutes left in regulation, and then neither team able to score in overtime.
Yeah, that's just tough to see for the Knights, because that would have been their third win in a row here in conference, but instead having a tie with their record now going to 2-3-1. Still going to be behind St. Mary's, who is 2-2-2 now. You know, and we'll see the Knights come out and play on October 18th on Wednesday at Marymount. So hopefully they can come away with another conference win there. And
yeah, their next two games at Marymount and at York, Wednesday the 18th at 7 p.m. and then at York Saturday the 21st at 12:30. Those are two teams that are below them in conference play, so it may be two opportunities for a win there. Definitely trying to come away with one here. Unfortunately, unable to do so. But as you see, the men's teams have taken the field, and we will have the Southern Virginia men's soccer team as well take on the St. Mary's Seahawks in about 15 minutes. So go ahead and stick around for that one.